And hello, and welcome to round number 12 of the Nemesis Online Racing League Championship. We're about to get into the lobby here at the Hungaroring. For it's going to be a very difficult challenge for the drivers today. The Hungaroring, certainly one of the more technical tracks on the circuit. And here we go. It looks like we're going to have a dry qualifying session. Of course, it is a one-shot qualifying session, and around this track, it is certainly very... Hang on. Just had to clear my throat. It's very easy to perhaps cut a corner or extend on one of the exits of the corners. So the drivers are going to have to be extra careful and pay extra attention to where they're placed in their car or on circuits during this one-shot qualifying session. As now we are on board with Hereford for the opening couple of corners as he goes through turn 1, a very difficult corner. You can either go through and turn in gear 3 or gear 2, but if you want a little bit of extra traction and turning during the middle of the corner, you would want to go into gear 2. Now into that very difficult left hand. It is so important that you go as deep as you can into the corner to try and get a nice tight angle back to get a good run. Now they have a difficult turn 4, as you can see there. The Williams driver has gone over the track limits on the right hand side, and I'm surprised that he hasn't indeed got a some sort of penalty for that. He might have indeed. And now we're on board with Chazza here as they come through the ever difficult twisting, turning middle sector, left, right, and now another left, and now into a flat out right hander, or well, what can be a flat out right hander, but Chazza taking it very cautiously at the moment. But now we'll try and go further forward here as we have currently Addy on provisional pole here. Whereabouts is the Haas driver? Here he comes. He's coming through the penultimate corner now. And now on the run down to the final corner. He just needs to get it all neatly and tidily through this final corner. And Addy is going to perhaps claim his first pole position in the Nemesis Racing League Championship. And indeed he does by 0.3 of a second over Ragno in the Ferrari. And there we have it. We have Addy on pole. His first pole, at least that I can remember, in this league. Followed by Ragnar. Then Chillakilla in third. Maverick in fourth with another very good qualifying performance. Maverick. And we have Ed on the medium compound tyres. It's important to point out in fifth. Lower power in sixth. Chaz on the medium compounded tyre as well in seventh. Murcielago in eighth. Val ninth. Hereford 10th. 10th is Skull. 12th is Schecterfer, and the disqualifiers, or just disqualifiees from the session, are Ayrton Spenner, King No Skill, and Bolt, our championship leader. He's going to be starting in last place, and his championship rival, Ed, is going to be starting way up the field. I think it was 5th place, I believe. The first of the medium tyre runners, and it looks like it is going to be a dry start to this race, as I've just realised I've closed my phone. Now I can't see the chat, if there is any. Yes, and there we go. I would run through the for the championship order, but I think I think we'll give that a miss for today. Give that a miss for today. As I usually do. Can I like stop that? I usually do that, but I opted not to. So now the drivers are just about loading in. Don't know why they have all taken so long when they literally have nothing to do in the 30 seconds as soon as that countdown begins. And now we're underway in our formation lap for the 35 lap Grand Prix here at the Hungaroring. And it's going to be a long haul for these drivers because this track is really severe with the penalties for corner cutting and track extending, and there's such a technical track where it's so easy to overheat your tyres as well. So that's going to be another major factor. And with the well, bright sunshine shining down here, it's going to be pretty challenging to keep those tyres in check. And those who are on the medium tyres are certainly going to come into play very early on in this race, as they'll probably looking to do a two-stop, I'd assume. I know if a one-stop is possible on this circuit, but that's certainly what they'll be hoping to do. But a major talking point in this race certainly is the fact that our championship leader, and I think he's had a little off there. I think he has had a little off there already. At turn 4. It certainly isn't going well for our championship leader here, who's sadly got the annoying gearbox sound glitch once again. No, just when I thought they had fixed it, has not indeed. But Ed, of course, who gained some points back on Bolt in the last Grand Prix, where he won, of course, and Bolt finished in 5th place. Now Bolt's starting 15th, and Ed's going to start 5th. And if Ed can gain some places at the start, he could put himself into a very good position to potentially win this Grand Prix and gain an extreme amount of points on his championship rival, who you would expect on a very good day to come back and get some very strong points. But it's all about what Ed can do here today in terms of the championship battle, as now we have Addy coming towards and lining up in his grid slot. And now as we look further back, we finally are about to have King No Skill and Bolt line up on the back of the grid, and we're about to get our 5 red lights to signal the start of the race. And here we go. We have 2, we have 3, we have 4, we have 5. And lights out, and away we go, and it looks like it has been a pretty good start for the Ferrari there. Yes, and Addy is having to defend the inside line quite heavily already, as Ragnar is trying to go around down the inside, with Chilikel potentially going around the outside. But it looks like the racing point there of Lollapal was touching the back of the Haas there, and was causing him. It seems as like the racing point is lagging quite a bit, as there's quite a bit of ghosting. But Chilikel up the inside of the Haas driver, and yes indeed the racing point is lagging up a storm, and it is causing quite a bit of chaos so far, as now they head through turn 4 for the first time. Is it going to cause any issues so far? It looks like everyone has got through there pretty unscathed, as Ragno in the Ferraris in the lead of the Grand Prix, followed by Chilkel, followed by Lollapal, followed by Addy, followed by Maverick, followed by Chazza, followed by Ed Furch, followed by Murcielago, Val, Hereford, Bolt, who's made up 4 positions already at the start of this race. The Renault driver is making a strong start, and he's got his teammate behind him in 12th places. Oh, there's been a massive crash here, and I don't know who on earth has caused that, but that is at least a 5-car pile-up involving Murcielago, Maverick, Lollapal, Val, and Schecter, and if that isn't a safety car, I don't know what will be, because that is a 5-car pile up there. Oh my goodness gracious me, and we're back under green flag conditions already. I don't know how the drivers have managed to survive that contact, but they have. Now we've still got yellow flags in sector 3. Oh, as Ragnar's made a little bit of a mistake there at turn 1, but Chillikilla isn't close enough to capitalise on that mistake. And here we go, Chazza and Ed now. Chazza trying to go up the inside of the Mercedes driver. He forces the Mercedes out. Does Chazza. Very strong defensive driving there by Chazza. Oh, but Chazza with a little bit of mistake there. And Ed's trying to go around the outside of turn 5. That's a very, very ambitious move, that is for sure. As he's putting Chazza under monumental pressure here early on. And Chazza seemingly struggling quite a bit. Ed absolutely all over the rear end of Chazza here in the early stages of this race. But Ed, whoa, and as you can see, as a result of all of that contact, Bolt is in 6th place already. He started 15th. His championship rival Ed must have been licking his lips at the side of that, and then after that 5 or 6 car pile up, he's already up into 6th place. And there you go, you can see him right in front, and Ed's just made a little bit of a mistake there. Or I know he could have hit the back of Chaz there, because he has been absolutely all over the back, and now he's within a second of his championship rival already. What a fantastic start by Bolt. And he's really going to be looking to capitalise on this. And he is also on the medium compounder tyres, like Ed, like Chaz in front of him. So this is going to be interesting to see how this develops in the upcoming laps. As we have Ayrton Spencer and the Williams. There's been some contact there. And now King No Skills trying to get involved here on the action. As they head down towards turn 4. Let's see if there's any interest from the drivers. So we've had a spin. We've had a spin. The race leader. He's hit the championship leader there, and somehow has kept it out of the wall. But Ragnar, with a very, very dangerous rejoining of the track, has also lost his lead in the race. And now Chillakiller is in the lead this race with Addy all over the back of him as they come into sector 2. Now, just about into sector 3 is the Haas driver, running massively wide there through the very fast and tricky right-hander. But now Chazza up into 3rd, Ed up into 4th, Bolt up into 5th, and Ragnar all the way down in 8th place. And does he have some damage? I'm not sure if he does, but his rear tyres will be overheating after that. That is for sure. As if you do spin on this game, of course, your rear tyres are going to be absolute toast. And now, let's see if anything happens into turn 1. We've got Addy trying to go back up the inside of Chillakiller here into turn 1. Not going to be able to do anything about it at the moment. But now on the run down to turn 2, Chillakiller is going to defend the inside line. The Haas driver is going to try and go the long way around the outside. He looks like he's going to be able to keep his nose in here for turn 3. And indeed, what a move there by the Haas driver. And he's moved himself up to the lead of the Grand Prix. He started on pole and now he's back into 1st place in this race. Addy overtaking Chillakiller there with a fantastic move. And now all of a sudden the top 4 are separated by about 2 seconds as Chazza and Ed are all over the back of these two up ahead now. After, of course, our leader, our early leader Ragnar, has spun out on the previous lap, I believe at turn 4. Now things are really, really heating up here. Oh, and Chillakiller put his left rear on the curb there, and that's really affected his run into that fast right-hander. Is Chazza going to go up the inside? Yes, he is. A fantastic move there by Chazza, capitalising on Chillakiller's little mistake. Oh, and Ed's gone round around the outside of Chillakiller. No way, the penultimate corner. Yes, he has. What a move that is by Ed. Chillakiller has been completely outdone by the Ferrari and the Mercedes in 2 corners. And now let's see if Ed is going to try and make a move on the Ferrari driver here. He has the DRS, which Chazza does not. He feints to move up the inside, but thinks better of it in these early stages of the Grand Prix. But Ed certainly is looking very threatening here as Chazza, as he goes all over the grass. Does Ed? I'm not sure if he entirely meant or if that's exactly what happened on his screen. But Ed certainly in a good position here at the moment. As Ed was very, very aggressive on the throttle through turn 5 there. So come through the very tight and tricky middle sector. Now just a little bit further back we have Bolt all over the back of the Alfa Romeo driver here. The Chillakiller, is he going to go down the inside? Yes, he is, but very half-hearted move if I'm completely honest with you. But now what's going on with Ed and Chazza? Ed's trying to go up the inside of the penultimate corner on every single lap. Chazza trying to squeeze him out nearly onto the grass there, but Ed has had to sit back and wait at the moment. As now Ed and Chazza. I don't know what on earth is going on there, but it looks like they're ghosted. Ed's going to try and go up the inside. Chazza's going to try and fight around the outside, but Ed forces Chazza off the track, like we've seen Chazza try to do earlier in the Grand Prix. And now Chazza has been overtaken by Ed, and Ed is up into second place in this Grand Prix. And in the meanwhile, Chiller Killer has come into the pits, and it's now down in 9th place. And that, of course, promotes Bolt up into 4th place now. And he's not too far behind Chazza, who's just picked up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings in this race. Now we're going to go on board with King No Skill here as well. We've got a virtual safety car, so that is very, very unfortunate timing for Chiller Killer, who just decided to pit. I'm not entirely sure why there's a virtual safety car. Or was that is indeed a Murcielago with no front wing. That is indeed why there is a virtual safety car. And now let's see if the leaders are going to be able to take advantage of this. They're just now in the last sector. Let's see what happens here. They're coming through the penultimate corner. It looks like they're just going to be able to pick it up in time and come into the pits, perhaps. No, they decide to continue on as Addy, and I think that's a bit of a mistake on Addy's behalf there. I'd be coming in the pit lane if I was him, but we are back under green flag conditions, and now the Mercedes driver, the second man in the Drivers' Championship at the moment, Ed, is all over the back, putting every single bit of pressure he can put on Addy at the moment. Braking late, just testing Addy into every single corner at the moment. There's going to be nothing he can do at the moment as they head into turn 4. As there's really no real overtaking opportunities throughout the rest of the lap, as Addy actually ran a little bit wide through turn 4. Now Chazza is all over the back of Ed once again, as everyone who as now just everything's bunching up. So I had lower power just retired from the Grand Prix, and Addy's really struggling with it, those soft compounded tyres now, as Ed is trying to go around the outside in the penultimate corner, basically pushing Addy through the penultimate corner. But he can't do anything about this Haas driver at the moment. But what an exit he's got. He's got so much more grip than the Mercedes driver. He goes to the inside line. Addy's going to try and squeeze him. But now let's see if he can get the move done. Can the Mercedes driver? Yes, he can. I think Chazza will look to try and get up the inside of Addy here as well. Oh, Chazza nearly loses the rear end, and now that is going to allow Bolt surely to get up the inside of Chazza into turn 2. There's a little bit of wheel-to-wheel contact between the two, but it looks like Chazza will just about maintain that third place into turn 3, as I cannot go on board with Bolt, unfortunately, as he's got that horrible sound glitch. But Chazza down into P3 now. Sorry, no, what am I saying? Ed up into P1. Chazza unable to get past, although now he is, as what on earth has happened to Addy there? I'm not entirely sure. He didn't exactly catch it as I was flicking through the cameras. It looks like he lost the rear end. Has Addy got a puncture? He's driving oh so cautiously through all of these corners. He's either got some extremely bad tyre wear or he's got a puncture. He doesn't have a puncture, otherwise he'd be going a lot slower than that, but Addy, I said it was a mistake not to come in the pits just at the end of that virtual safety car, and I think my point has been proven correct here, as his tyres are struggling, and I wouldn't be surprised if he comes into the pits now, and indeed he does on lap 8. Addy, who of course did start on pole, makes his first pit stop of the Grand Prix. Manages to get the car slowed down in time. And now what compounded tyres is he going to go onto? He's going to go onto the hard compounded tyre, so it's going to be a long stint in the race now for Addy. We've also had Ragnar come into the pits as well. So we've got some yellow flags in sector 2. I'd assume that'd be for someone at turn 4. No, we haven't quite caught that in time. Might have been for someone slowing down, but I think we're reaching quite a critical point in this race for Bolt here, as we've managed to get rid of the gearbox glitch, which is fantastic. But I think this is a really crucial time for Bolt in this race. As you can see, Ed is starting to pull a bit of an advantage over Chaz now. The gap is 2 seconds, and if Bolt, he really wants to be winning this Grand Prix. If he wants to start building up that advantage over Ed again, they really lost quite a bit out on in the last Grand Prix at Germany. I think it's really crucial that he gets past Chaz in the next couple of laps, because I don't think Chaz is going to be able to catch up to the back of Ed at the moment, if I'm perfectly honest. I think if there is going to be one man, it is going to be this man, the championship leader that we're on board with at the moment. Although saying that, Chaz has just taken about half a second out of Ed in the first sector alone, but I believe that Chaz is running about 2-3 wings. If he is staying true to his word that he's going to run very low wings for the rest of the season, as he doesn't care. Those are his words. And as you can see through the middle part of this lap, Chaz is really struggling. Now you can see chronic understeer through there as he's running wide through many of the corners, and that's going to mean these tyres are going to wear out sooner than what you'd think the Eds and Bolts are. So if Bolt can get close enough here, let's see if he can get a good run out of the penultimate corner here. Gets a solid run, but now through the final corner he's going to have to get really close. Going to have to use that downforce he's got in the car to try and get close to Chazza. And now, as you're about to see, Chazza's going to fly one the straight, even though Chazza doesn't have DRS. But now Bolt's... Oh, I thought Bolt was going to launch one from an absolute mile back. It looks like it. But Chazza is just oh so quick in the straights, and this is going to be an absolute pain in the neck of Bolt, as you can see that through the second and third sector he's much quicker than Chazza, but where the overtaking happens in the first part of the lap, he's not quicker than Chazza, and Chazza's managing to keep it on circuit through turn 4 and through turn 5, which is very difficult to do as Bolt touched the inside curb there, and I thought he was going to go spinning around, because that is one of the death curbs on this track. You don't want to be touching those curbs, and got to give Chaz some credit here, because you can see he's quite clearly running less wings than what Ed and Bolt are at the moment. But he's doing a good job, this Chaz, and I'm sure it's going to be frustrating Bolt. But even in sector 3 here, I think Bolt's had a bit of a scruffy lap after he touched the inside curb at turn 5. And here we go. Now the advantage is 2.2 seconds, we'll say, to Ed, between the Mercedes and the Ferrari driver. And of course, these four drivers have not. Top 5 haven't made a pit stop, I believe. Indeed, the top 5 have not made a pit stop, and they're all on the medium compounder tyres. So these lot doing very well in these early stages of the race. So we've got some yellow flags in sector 2. Wonder what that is for. Probably for a spin. Oh, and Chazza losing the rear end a little bit through turn 4 there. Oh, and Bolt getting also close to that inside curb. Once again, as Ragnar sets fast lap the Grand Prix so far, 1 minute 20.897. And Ragnar, of course, he was the leader in the early few laps. But now he's all the way down in 8th place, and having already made a pit stop. As when we get a chance, perhaps when the drivers are making their pit stops, to read what Murcielago has just put in the chat, as I believe it is a pretty angry message, and it must be said, of course, his race has been completely and utterly ruined from some contact with some other drivers who end up being in a 5 or 6 car pile-up. Absolutely massive crash on lap 2, I believe it was. As Bolt, closest he's been to Chazza in a little bit here. He has some DRS He has some slipstream, but in the turn 2, he's not close enough. Oh, he's launched one up the inside there. He's licked the stamp and sent it, but don't chase it with the inside line through turn 3. Can Bolt perhaps run it around the outside with the inside line into turn 4? They're going side by side through turn 4, and Chazza around the outside has just about managed to hold on. Oh my goodness gracious me, and there's some wheel-to-wheel contact, but they're being ghosting. And now they're still side by side as they go into the chicane. They're not giving up an edge here now, but the Renault's been forced off the track there, and now they're still side by side through the middle sector. Now through the right-hander, Chaz has still got the inside line. The Renault's being forced wide once again, and somehow Chazza, who I thought was all gone as Bolt had the inside line for turn 5, has somehow stayed ahead, and a gap that was 2.5 or 2.2 seconds is now 4 seconds. And this is what I was talking about earlier. It was so crucial that Bolt had to get past Chazza cleanly, and as soon as he possibly could, if he really wanted to close that gap to Ed. And now, as you can see, that battle as Bolt losing the rear end, absolute treat coming out the final corner. Now it's a 4-second gap. It was a valiant effort by Bolt up the inside of turn 2, but Chazza with a little bit of a poor exit there out of turn 1. Can Bolt perhaps surprise Chazza once again? He's gone for it again, but Chazza's seen it coming, and Bolt was a little bit too far back on this occasion. But that battle's really cost these two drivers a lot of time. As you can see, I think it's really overheating both of their tyres as they're absolutely sliding all over the place through the middle sector, going side by side, forcing each other off of the track. And I think you can see now Chaz's tyres really starting to feel it through the middle sector here. And I thought Bolt was going to go for an absolute launch up the inside as Schechter gets out of the way very well. As we're now just on the previous lap, Chiller Killer did get past Hereford for 5th place. Now Addy has just also gotten past Hereford for 7th place as well. But now Bolt into turn 1. Can he do anything about Chazza here? No, I think he's going to try and set up a move into turn 2 again. It seems to be his best opportunity for an overtake, but doesn't look like he can do anything about Chazza. Once again, is now on lap 15 to 35. Chazza with a little bit of a weird exit there out of turn 3, and perhaps Bolt can capitalise down onto turn 4, but you wouldn't think so, as it's a wall. Jeez, there's a very difficult corner to get any move done, but he's going to try and send it up the inside of turn 5, but I believe there was some yellow flags there in sector 1 and 2, which has just stopped him from doing so as he hits the back of Chazza there into the chicane. Has he got any front wing damage from that? I don't believe he does, but now look at that gap. It's 5.5 seconds, and I think Chazza is now starting to really feel the effects of running less downforce. As you can see, sliding with the rear end losing itself so much as they just enter sector 3. And Bolt, he just needs to stay up to the back of Chazza here, and if he can stay close through the final corner and get a good exit and open up the DRS and use some ERS, he might be able to get a move done into turn 1. This is certainly the closest he's been into turn 1. Can Bolt get the move done finally on Chazza? He goes up the inside. Chazza, of course, has got to try hold on around the outside, but let's see. Chazza, can he fight back? He does have the inside line for turn 2. Bolt's going to have to go the long way around, but it does seem as if he has better tyres. And there we go. Bolt around the outside of turn 2 gets the move done on Chazza. And he's up into P2 on this race, but Chazza's got to go back up the inside of turn 4. No, he does not. But that was oh so close as Chazza. Absolutely monumental speed down the straight into turn 4. But Bolt finally, after laps and laps and laps of pressuring Chazza and being behind Chazza, has now moved up into second place, but he's 6.5 seconds off the lead, and that is certainly not what you want if you're Bolt. But after starting 15th, I'm sure he's not complaining about being in second place after 16 laps of this Grand Prix. As you would expect, the drivers in any time now, and there we go. We've got our first drivers of those on the medium compound tyres into the pits, and here we go. We're going to have Chaz into the pits, and let's see now if Chazza can pull off the undercut on Ed, who's got a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Chazza will be absolutely kicking himself for that one as he now puts on the hard compound tyres, as I assume that's what Ed also did, who just pitted from the lead of this Grand Prix. As now Bolt, of course, inherits the Grand Prix with his teammate of Ayrton Spencer in second place. And Chillicott is going to come out ahead of Chazza in fourth place. There you go. As now Addy and Hereford are also making pit stops now. Hereford has gone onto the no way he's gone onto the medium compounded tyre. No, he's gone onto hard. There's just a tyre glitch there. But Addy's gone onto the medium compounded tyre. That's very, very interesting, as that was Chazza in the wall there on the exit of turn 5. What on earth has happened there? Has he got any front wing damage? I don't believe he does, but that was Chazza. That was absolutely Chazza, who was running very wide there on the exit of turn 5. Like to see what happened there, as Addy, after his pit stop, has come out behind Maverick in 9th place, who's, well, got to let him through basically. Well, not basically, that's exactly what he's going to do. As now Bolt has come into the pits, he's going to put on a set of the hard compounded tyres. Now let's see where he comes out in regards to Chazza. Has Chazza undercut Bolt here? There's Bolt. He's on the inside of Chazza, and it looks like that Chazza is once again back in front of Bolt. And now the battle that raged on before the first pit stop of the Chazza and Bolt is going to go on once more, as now Chazza ahead of Bolt after achieving the undercut, pitting a lap early of course, and coming out ahead of Bolt, who pitted the following lap. Now Bolt's going to be like, oh god, I've got this fast Ferrari ahead of me again, much like the Ferrari in real life is Chazza. Not very quick through the second and third sector, but in the first sector, super quick. And let's see what goes on here between these two drivers. As Ed, of course, our theoretical race leader, is in second place behind Ayrton Spencer, who hasn't pitted yet. And I must say, surprised that he hasn't pitted yet. You'd assume that he might pit on the next lap and go onto the hard compound tyres. Although, considering he has gone this far on the medium compound tyres, it might ponder the question if he goes onto the soft compound tyres come race end. As now Bolt not able to get past Chazza on this lap, at least, as he does look still very quick in this stint on these hard compound tyres. As Bolt has come through the very difficult turn 4. As Addy sets the fastest lap of the race, so that was a 1:19.8. As Bolt very close to Chazza there. I was not paying real attention to the screen then, if I'm perfectly honest. I was looking down at the chat to see what Murchie had to say. Largo and Maverick touched, and Maverick car drove or spun directly into my path, collecting me and several others. When you don't lag for once and you get your race ruined. That's unfortunate, Murchie. Of course, I'm not sure if he is actually running in this race anymore, but now we have the man who was in the lead of the race, Ayrton Spencer, into the pits now, and he's going to put on the hard compounded tyres, and he will more than likely come out in 5th place behind his teammate Bolt. Of course, a little bit further behind than where Bolt is on circuit. I mean, he should come out comfortably ahead of Ragno. Should Ayrton Spencer. As now Chillicothe has been on these medium compound tyres for 14 laps now since his first pit stop off of the soft compound tyres, and you'd assume that perhaps at the end of this lap he'll be coming on to fit another set of medium compound tyres to complete his 2-stop strategy. As now Chazza, Bolt and Chillicothe are all very close, and speaking of very close, Bolt is extremely close to the rear end of Chazza there through the middle sector, but Chazza will be looking to get past Chillicothe now, whose tyres are much more significantly worn than his, as Chazza makes a little bit of a mistake and has to go defensive here. Into the right-hander. Oh, and Bolt trying to go around the outside, and no way he's going to go up the inside of the penultimate corner. He's going to try and get the move done up the inside of the penultimate corner. He's going to force Chazza off a little bit, is he? No, he doesn't, but Bolt, with a stunning move, has gone past Chazza. All of a sudden is up into P3, but now Chazza's got the DRS and he's put it up in the hot lap. He's got to try and get past back Bolt here into turn 1. Can Chazza get it done up the inside? There's touch there. There's been some wheel banging there as Bolt's squambled all over the AstroTurf, and Chazza is now back up into P3 somehow after that stunning move by Bolt. As now Skull TBD is retired from this race, and you'd assume it'd be in sector 2 or 3, as that's where the yellow flags are on circuit now. But it's been a race-long battle between Chazza and Bolt, lots and lots of wheel banging. And you can see, especially through those medium speed corners, that on these harder compound tyres where there's less grip, that Chazza really is struggling to get the car turned in. And Chazza, I thought the Chillicothe was about to come, the Chillicothe quite massively there, and he's going to send it up the inside as Chazza. Chillicothe pretty much lets him through, and also lets through Bolt here. As now Chazza and Bolt are up past Chillicothe, up in the second and third place. Bolt trying to launch a little bit of an attack around the outside of Chazza, but Chazza does see it coming. But Bolt very close up on the run to turn 4. Not going to be able to get anything done though, of course, as you have to be side by side. Oh, and Bolt trying to make a move up the inside turn 5, and oh, I get nervous because that's just not what you want to be doing up the inside of turn 5. As if you touch that inside curb, you're pretty much toast, and very brave by Bolt to be doing that. As I also did miss Jake Marsh's message in the chat saying yo, hello Jake Marsh. Oh, sorry, hello Jake. Nice to have you here. Of course, supporting your Team Black Diamond friend Bolt, and of course Skull, who's now retired from the race, very sadly. As now once again through the penultimate corner. Bolt applying the pressure to Chazza. They've been battling now for about 12 or 13 laps of these two. And let's see if Bolt can finally put the final nail in the coffin of this battle. As we're now on lap 23 of 35, as the Mercedes of Ed now leads by 13.5 seconds. Oh my lord. He's absolutely dominating this race. Is now Chillicothe, as he's come into the pits onto the medium compound tyres, is going to probably end up coming out in 6th place. Or was his air suspender's gone very wide there. I thought for a second that was Bolt, but certainly he's not. As Skull is saying in the chat that earlier incident messed up my race, so that's unfortunate. I'm assuming the incident you're talking about is the 6-car pile-up or whatever, how many cars it was. Was Bolt once again super close to the rear end of Chazza here through the middle sector. But of course, very hard to get anything done about it through the middle sectors. There's nowhere really to overtake in the middle part of the lap. A few more opportunities though through turn 3, as many drivers have shown today. He's Bolt trying to stick one up the inside once again. But Chazza's like, you're not doing that, buddy. The Bolt trying to get a move done absolutely anyway, trying to throw Chazza off to try and disturb his run through the final corner. But now into overtake mode with the slipstream and the DRS. Can Bolt get a move done into turn 1? He's going to go for the move. He looks like he might have got the move done on Chazza. Chazza, though, he's still there. He's going to have the outside line here for turn 2, which is arguably the better line. But Bolt going really deep in the corner, trying to force Chazza onto those marbles. It looks like Bolt might have the move done here. Yes, he does. Around the outside of turn 3, and now on the run down to turn 4. Is Chazza going to go around the outside of Bolt once again up the inside of turn 5? Oh, the inside curve, and Bolt cuts him off, and he's up into second place finally. And now this is a crucial part of this battle. Oh, and Chazza absolutely no grip through the chicane. He's lost nearly about half a second there. What on earth has happened to Chazza? Does Chazza have some sort of front wing damage? Because he's just about lost a second in about 2 corners. Oh, Chazza's retired from the race. What on earth has gone on there? And there we go. Chazza retires from the race. I'm confused by that. What on earth has just happened there? But what that does mean now is that there's 2 Renaults on the podium, with Ayrton Spencer in 3rd place, but Ragno is in 4th, Chillican in 5th, as Val has just overtaken the retired car of Chazza. Still in 10th place at the moment, as we're lacking some on-track battles at the moment. But what a fantastic battle that we had throughout that race between Chazza and Bolt. Not entirely sure what happened to Chazza. He usually does have the stream open whilst he's racing, so he might put in the chat what's happened. He might have just retired because he felt like it. But yeah, I was not expecting that to be happening now, as Addy is somewhat closing up to the back of Chillakilla here, even though Chillakilla's just pitted. Addy looking very strong, even though he's on much older tyres than Chillakilla. And yes, he is indeed. Addy looking very strong here compared to the pace of Chillakilla. So come through the second to last corner, and now through the last corner, and Chillakilla runs absolutely monumentally wide. And now that should gift Addy a perfect opportunity to try and get past into turn 1. But with the DRS, he's not opted to use much of ERS, and if he did, I think he could have got a move done into turn 1, Addy. But looks like he's just saving his ERS at the moment, as Chillakilla is certainly using all of his at the moment. Perhaps Addy just not feeling like it's quite the right time to try and make a move on the Alfa Romeo driver of Chilla. Is now bouncing all over the outside curbs of turn 4. Addy runs a little bit wide, but yeah, Addy, I think this is the battle that we're going to be keeping an eye on here. As now, sadly, after Chazza's retired, we're no longer going to have that brilliant battle between himself and Bolt. And on lap 27 to 35, I think this is really the only action that we're going to see on track, as the other closest battle on track is between Ragno and Ayrton Spencer. But Ragno, even though he has been gaining on Ayrton Spencer, has much older medium tyres, and he's going to really struggle to get those towards the end of the race, is Ragno. So Ragno might still have to pit. Yeah, he might go onto the soft compounded tyre very shortly, might Ragno, and try and make a dash to see if he can catch up to the back of these two, most likely. These two being, of course, Addy and Chillakilla. So come through turn 3 on the straight now down to turn 4. Alfa Romeo still leading the Haas driver just by a little bit under half a second now. It's about three tenths now. So Haas driver had quite a strong turn 3. Now they come through the middle sector chicane. Beautiful camera shot there. Sometimes the game decides to give us some very nice camera shots, and that is certainly one of them. As Maverick has just picked up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Now through the very fast right hand as now they enter into the third sector. The Haas driver once more trying to just close that gap through the final sector, and if he is close enough on the exit of the final corner, he can perhaps get a move done into turn 1, as he does look very quick here in these closing stages of this Grand Prix here. As now they come through the final corner now, and Addy is certainly more than close enough to try and get a move done here on Chiller Killer. He's going to dart up the inside, is Addy. Can he get the move done into turn 1? They go side by side through turn 1 as the Haas driver has forced the Alfa Romeo driver off the circuit, and it looks like he has indeed got that move done into turn 2. Out of turn 1 into turn 2 he's secured it. And now Addy, who is on much older tyres than Chiller Killer, has overtaken him for 5th place. So that's some fantastic driving and showing that he just has some more raw speed than Chiller Killer around this racetrack. And while there's not much you can do about that if you're Chiller Killer, perhaps you can hope that in the coming laps these tyres perhaps fall off a cliff, but I don't think that will happen. And now Addy will try and drive away, and Chiller Killer has quite a scruffy middle sector here, and now Addy extending that advantage to probably was going to be up towards about 7 to 8 tenths now. Chiller Killer really gonna have to fight to make sure he stays within DRS, and if he does stay within DRS, he always stands a chance to perhaps get back past Addy. But if he does lose the DRS, it's going to be quite difficult. As now we have Ragno coming into the pits, putting on the soft compounded tyres, and now let's watch out for how quick Ragno is, and let's see, of course, if he can perhaps try to catch up to the back of this battle between Chiller Killer and Addy. But the gap is going to be about 12 seconds or so on lap 29 to 35. He's going to have to pull out some mighty laps. He's going to have to gain about 3 or 4 seconds a lap on the drivers ahead to stand any chance of overtaking those lot. As now Chiller Killer, as I was speaking about how crucial staying within a second of the driver ahead is, has now just dropped outside ahead of that 1 second window, and he's going to have to try and pull together some sort of worldy middle and final sector to try and get back within a second of the Haas driver. But looks like the Haas driver is just streaking away from him at the moment. Addy displaying some fantastic pace, and who knows, if his race did just go a little bit better for him, he might have found himself on the podium at the end of today's race. Speaking of the podium, we have Ed, of course, on lap 30 now, as he's losing the rear end a little bit there through turn 5. He's 20 seconds ahead of his championship rival Bolt here, and this win is of course going to mean that he's going to close in once again on Bolt. Well, of course I say win, but it's not secured yet. There's still 5 or 6 laps remaining, and as you can see there, with some oversteer on the exit curbs, that could very easily have ended up in him going in the wall here. So it's certainly not over here at the Hungaroring, and there you go. As soon as we come on board here, Ed's made a couple of mistakes, and he just needs to coast. He has absolutely nothing to gain by driving absolutely flat out in these last remaining laps. He just takes it easy. He can just secure the victory and go home, taking 7 more points than Bolt, which he'd be absolutely thrilled with. And of course, I'm sure he wants to be winning in very dominant fashion, but just getting ahead first over the finish line is what's more important. And well, we were saying Ragno's going to have to gain 3 or 4 seconds a lap here. The gap was what was it? It was 12 seconds when he pitted. The gap is now 6.6. Ragno, with those red striped soft compound tyres on in that red Ferrari, he's absolutely flying, and he's surely going to set the fastest lap of the race. He is indeed a 1:18.8. 7-7, which I think just about beats whoever set the fastest lap previously. I can't remember who it was, but Ragnar on an absolute mission towards Chiller Killer here. At the start of that lap, it was 6.6 seconds, the gap between Ragnar and Chiller Killer. And let's keep an eye on how much he gains now on this lap. As Chiller Killer is 1.5 seconds behind Addy. He's just outside that 1 second window. As just alone the first sector, he's going to gain about half a second is Ragnar. But now through the middle part of the lap, where those soft compound tyres are going to be giving him so much extra grip, as we've got a safety car! Oh boy, on lap 32 or 35, and Bolt's coming to the pits! Has Ed gone past the pits? Yes, he has! And that is a massive, 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 massive moment in this race! Oh my goodness, the retirement of Hereford. I don't know exactly where he has retired. It looks like it might have been on the exit of turn 4 there, or perhaps on turn 5. There is some debris there as well. It's produced a safety car, and oh boy, Ed is going to be absolutely fuming. But it looks like Ed is still able to go at near enough full speed, and it looks like there might not cost him too much in the end. He still might be able to pit and come out ahead of Bolt here. But by the looks of it, it looks like it won't matter in the end. It looks like Ed is going to be able to come into the pits and put on those soft compounded tyres. And indeed he is. Ed is going to remain in the lead this race, but I think we might get one lap of racing here. I assume they're going to do this lap and the next lap under safety car conditions. As now Ed has come out behind the safety car as Bolt's now coming through the final corner. Chiller Killer has decided not to pit, and he is on the medium compounded tyres. Ayrton Spenner must not have had any tyres left, and he's gone on to the medium compounded tyres. As everyone else has pitted except for King No Skill, who I don't know why he hasn't exactly pitted, as Ragnar's got a 20-second time penalty for speeding under the safety car. As now Ayrton Spenner has decided to pit for some soft compound tyres, and if I were him, I don't know why he's honestly done that, because we might only have one lap of racing here, and he's going to lose at least, well, he's going to lose one position at least, the 2 positions, sorry, is Ayrton Spenner. So interesting decision, I believe, honestly, to pit. I don't know if we're even going to get back under racing, if I'm perfectly honest, as now Bolt is about to catch up to the back of Ed here in the middle sector behind the safety car. Safety car is in this lap. Oh my goodness gracious me, as Chiller Killer is just about going to get to the back of this safety car queue, which involves about four cars. And Addy is trying absolutely everything he can to get up to the back of it here, but oh, as now we're back under green flag conditions. Just about. No, not yet, but now we are. As we're back underway here on lap 34-35, we have both the 2 championship rivals going head to head here. As now Bolt behind Ed into turn 1. It's just a straight out battle between these 2, raw speed, to see who can get the win here in Hungary. Penalties might come into it here, because I do believe that Ed does have a penalty, but let's see what happens here. As now to come through turn 4, very difficult corner. Ed very aggressive on the inside curb there, compared to Bolt, who goes quite a little bit wider through that part of turn 4 now through the chicane. It's going to be an absolute mega battle on now the penultimate lap and of course the final lap, but Ed pulling away here from Bolt through the middle sector. Just seems like he has a little bit more confidence in his car and in those tyres through the middle part of the lap. He just seems to be having, he seems to have the car a little bit more all together than Bolt. Perhaps he has some more downforce on the car. I know that he was talking earlier in the week in the group chat that he does prefer to have a little bit more downforce through the middle part of the lap, and perhaps Bolt is running a little bit less downforce as Ed nearly goes into the wall at the final corner. And now he sets the fastest lap in the Grand Prix as well, 1:17.8, as we're now on the final lap of the Grand Prix as Ed locks up into turn 1. But doesn't look like Bolt's going to be able to capitalise on that little mistake by Ed whatsoever. And now Bolt, he's going to have to pull off some sort of lap here if he wants to get past Ed. He's really only got 1 or 2 opportunities left if he's able to even get close enough. But he pretty much nails turn 4 there, but so does Ed. Ed's driving a pretty magnificent final 2 laps here, except for the final corner on that last lap. I thought he was absolutely toast as he nearly went to the wall at the final corner. But now through the middle part of the lap they go. Ed with quite a big lock up there, but it looks like Ed is going to have to do something pretty monumental to throw this race away. And Bolt very wide over the curbs here as they now come into the final few corners here. And Bolt now trails Ed. And into the final corner they go. And it looks like it's going to be victory here for Ed at the Hungaroring, bearing any penalties. And there you go. Bolt wins the Grand Prix in the end, but now we have Addy and Chillicothe. Oh, and it looks like Chillicothe has just about managed to hold off Addy there by squirming all over the racetrack to make sure that he stays behind. Ayrton Spinner, after pitting where I did question it, is going to finish all the way down in 6th place. It looked like for a second that it was going to be a Renault, one or at least 2 Renaults on the podium, but it's ended up Bolt in 1st place after starting in last. Bolt, of course, started in last place and has ended up winning the race on penalties. And Ed, who was ahead by 20 seconds, but with a couple of laps left, a crash of the Williams of Hereford brought out the safety car, and that has cost him victory here at what has been a dominant display otherwise by Ed. And Ed, I'm sure, will be absolutely fuming. He had absolutely dominated that race, did Ed, but in the end, due to a 1 penalty, it is Bolt who wins in Hungary. He'll be gaining 6 points on his championship rival here. As of course I do believe that Ed had the fastest lap of the race. But wow, what a drive by Bolt from last to 1st here. And to gain points on his championship rival. Absolutely mega drive by the Brit here today. And now we'll run through the final classification here today after round number 12 of the Nemesis Online Racing League Championship. And of course, as we mentioned previously, Bolt wins the race here from Ed in 2nd. Chillicothe on the podium in 3rd place. I believe that might be his first podium in the league, who finished just about ahead of Addy in 4th place. Ayrton Spinner, who looked like he was going to get a podium for quite some time, in 5th. Val in 6th, Maverick in 7th, Ragnar in 8th, who of course was leading in the early stages of the race. King No Skill in 9th, Schechter for 10th, Mochi Ligo 11th, Hereford 12th, Chazza 13th, Skull 14th, and in 15th is Lola Power. But what an absolutely enthralling and fantastic end to the Hungarian Grand Prix we have had there. And what a way to end, as our championship leader extends his advantage in the championship over Ed after that safety car came out with a few laps remaining snatching that victory away right in the hands of Ed. But you got to take your hat off to Bolt. He drove a fantastic race. He got past Chazza in the end, and he's got his win. He'll be absolutely thrilled with that. And there's been me, Niblo, for another week here, and I'm really looking forward to the next Grand Prix. Of course, the next Grand Prix will be the Belgium Grand Prix at Spa-Francorchamps, and that is going to be an absolutely fantastic race. Spa never disappoints, and it's going to provide 22 laps of non-stop action next time out. Of course, 9:30 Central European Time, 8:30 UK time next Sunday night, and of course 7:30 AM Monday morning Australian Eastern Daylight Standard Savings Time. That's not right, whatever I just said about Australian time. But yeah, what a race that was. After there was absolute carnage at the start, Bolt managed to find his way up from 15th to I think about 5th already after about 3 or 4 laps, and from then on he went strength to strength. He got past Chazza, and they ended up getting past, well, he didn't end up getting past Ed on track, but he did on the end via penalties. But that's it. I all hope you have a very, very, very good day, and yeah, we'll all see you next time out for the Belgium Grand Prix. Ta-da.